Can you just go over to the channel and see if the stream is live?
It's not.
Why? Why is it off? Oh my god, this thing is a really hateful thing. I despise it, but it's very helpful. Where can you see this if it's live or not?
Hmm?
Where can you see if it is live or not?
Well, I'm on your channel.
And there is nothing there.
Nope.
Okay, so public. Oh, it certainly sounds like it. It certainly looks like it's streaming. Good. Check video settings. The stream current bitrate is higher than the recommended bitrate.
Oh, you are live now.
I am.
Yes. We're watching.
Okay, let me. God, I am like a complete idiot with these things. Like, it isn't this. Okay, so the pop filter seems to be functional. It still says offline. Can you turn the laptop around? I want to see it as well. Probably due to the old ad blocking things. Can you boost up the resolution? Can you see the text well? Can you also share the link with me? Because I would like to know where the stream is, because I can't see it. For me, it says it's offline. And can you also try the chat as well? Because I want to make sure that everybody can actually pose a question or something. I should really have somebody else like set these things up. Okay, is the sound good? Is it? Okay, can you please give me the link? Like anytime. Ah, okay, I see it as well. Oh my god. After long loss, let me just put it on 1080p. Oh, thanks. Thank you. Thank you for telling me that the sound is good, because I am a little bit stupid in regard to these things. I really am. I've literally just managed to find the live chat to see that people are actually tuning in. Because for me it was all black until I've actually started disabling all the ad blocking things that I have in my browser. And thank you for confirming that the sound is good. Now, for all of you that have tuned in, if you see any options to like buy something or pay for something, do not do that. I have been configuring this thing for the last like 20 minutes. So if by some crazy chance something pops up or whatever, do not buy or pay for anything. Like, there is no need. This stream is completely free and all the material in it is completely free. Just so that we have a clear understanding in that regard. Just all of it is like completely free content. Okay, so let's see. How long will the stream last? I don't really know. I've allotted a lot of time for myself, but I don't know. Depends really. We'll do some code. You can ask as many questions as you like, preferably in regard to what I'm doing. If not, feel free to ask questions in regard to anything that you might feel like. You can ask me about the weather if you like. I'll probably have to Google the answers, but I will certainly manage to find them somewhere. Oh, okay, there's somebody from Serbia. Hello to you, but I can't actually use our language. I'm sorry, because nobody else will actually be able to understand us. But if you need something, like, you can always send me an email and write it in our language, so I'll reply, no problems. But in the live stream, I won't be able to do that. Okay, so can you turn this volume down, because literally your headphones are so loud that I can hear you here. You have to click plus add button to create channel to chat. Okay. I'm sorry, what? Yes, that is my birth date! 12th of the 7th, 1991. Is there any chance that you can make a free coupons for your courses? Yes, there is of course a chance. It's just that the process of the coupon creation includes about, I think, around 30 to 40 clicks. And there are a lot of people asking me for free coupons, and a lot of the time I do make them. It's just time consuming, very time consuming. So, if anybody knows how to expand this chat, that would be nice. Enable slow mode, enable live chat, automatically block spam messages. Okay, I've completely covered it. Participants pop out chat. Pop the chat out. Yes, pop it out. And if it would load, because I can't see anything. Okay, there we go. Just give me a sec with the questions. I'm managing with this chat functionality. Just setting it up. Give me just a sec. I'll answer as many questions as I can. Okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and scroll up and see what did you ask me. Questions later. Okay, feel free to ask anything that you want. Champa007. Yes, that is my birthday. The number that you see here, 12/7/1991. I'm guessing one of my friends has tuned in and is trolling me really hard. What will I be covering? Well, today we're going to go ahead, and I have Arduino here opened up in front of me, editor for it anyway, the development environment. And I have a Windows machine here and a lot of other things. Basically, I could just take the camera. Oh my god, this is difficult. Okay. So let me just zoom it out like this. Okay, so I have everything set up here, a lot of things, all that we're gonna do, and I'm gonna explain them in a moment. So we're gonna do a lot of coding today, but I've also intended this to be a Q&A session, so that you guys can ask as many questions as you like, and I'll try to provide the answers. One of the main reasons why I'm doing this is because, well, on Udemy, there are a lot of questions. I mean, a lot. There's more than 100 per day. And there is literally no way that I or some other people can actually manage to do that, can actually manage to answer a lot of those questions. It's extremely time consuming. So I figured I would organize a live chat, maybe once a week or something like that, and live session on YouTube once a week or something like that. And then you could ask me any questions that you like, and I will help you out in any way that you can. Okay, Storyteller, can you please help me with Fedora 25 installation? Sure. What is the problem Have you actually tried installing it, or do you actually have a USB that is for installation? Do you have an installation USB or something like that, a CD or whatever? If you want, I can run you through it real fast. The Fedora 25 installation is a rather simple one. Right, okay. Somebody is gonna troll me a lot, but okay. Sure. You can send me an email anytime you want. Metasploit? What about Metasploit? You mean like a course separate for Metasploit or something like that? Is that what you're referring to? Like a separate Metasploit course or something like that? If that's I'm generally not a fan of Metasploit. I mean, it does contain a lot of vulnerabilities there that can be utilized, but most of those vulnerabilities have already been patched. So what you have is basically a tool which contains a ton load of vulnerabilities which have already been fixed. And most of them won't actually work on anything that has actually applied any sort of software updates. I personally prefer to actually create the tools on my own, and that's primarily what I do in the courses. Basically, I show you how you can create tools on your own. How to install Linux on Macs? I'm not sure what a Macs is. Are you referring to a Mac? The SS7, if I'm not mistaken, I've read about it a while ago. It has something to do with the SIM cards. But as far as the like, if you wanted to demonstrate it, it would be kind of, I don't know. You would actually need to have it would be difficult to set up an environment for the demo of such an attack. That would be the problem there. But I do believe this has something to do with the SIM cards. I've read about it. It's just been a good while ago. Somebody came up with an idea. Why is Windows so much better than Linux? Oh my god, this is like my best friend here. And he is a zealous Windows user. So he just likes trolling me. So we can all disregard Altriana with his nick. Anyway, storyteller. Yes, you do have a Fedora USB, right? Sorry, that to install on Macs and what's the. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and guess that Macs is actually a Mac OS X, a MacBook. I'm gonna go ahead and guess that this is basically a Macs. And if that is the case, I would definitely not recommend installing or creating dual boot with Linux on a Mac OS X. I would definitely not recommend you to do that because I've tried, I've managed to succeed, I've actually done it, but I basically had to slowly walk through hell in order to be able to do it. Are you doing one? Of course. No, just have a virtual environment on a Mac, and you should be fine in order to learn everything in regard to Linux. I wouldn't recommend going for a dual boot option. It's very complicated and very prone to errors and problems. And you can never delete OS X because you will always need it for firmware updates. Could you create or could you recommend a good course on SQL injections? Could be a Udemy one, of course. Any in-depth on SQL? I really don't know about other courses that feature SQL injections on Udemy. But Martin, I wouldn't recommend actually going forward and learning about SQL injections. What I would recommend is go and learn about web development and how it actually works. Just go and learn about the SQL databases and how they work. And by learning that, then you will get a comprehensive picture of what you need to do in order to compromise such systems. Because he who can compromise a system is he who actually understands it. you can get a ton load of random information. Some guy's going to come along and he's going to have that background that is necessary, and he's going to be able to perform that SQL injection. He's going to show it to you, and you will be able to repeat it in that particular scenario, but you will have no understanding of what it actually is. So I would send you off to learn about SQL databases in general and web development, front-end and back-end languages which are used in order to understand how it actually all functions. Because SQL injections are kind of unthinkable without having that as your prior knowledge. Okay, I just finished session 4 and I'm going through the PDF and creating virtual machines. I have a spare Linux laptop. Do I need to create a virtual machine still? No. If you have a spare Linux laptop, no, you don't. But I would recommend for you to actually follow through the ethical hacking course 2, the second one, which I have published, because the old one is pretty old. So a lot of the things will break down. Simply due to the fact that, things change over time. Okay, the storyteller. Actually, I tried to create a live image of Fedora 25 on my USB, but always there comes a problem, and during booting, something happens and the window stops there only. Okay. So, I'm guessing you have an operating system installed there already. Did you change in the BIOS actually to boot from the USB? And if you can, disable the secure boot. Can you refer me to an alternative to man-in-the-middle framework attacks? Well, you can create your own. It's not actually that difficult. A lot of the processes that are automated in the man-in-the-middle framework, it's really not that hard to do on your own. Basically, I've done it in the newer course. It's a fairly simplistic procedure. I mean, they're just automating it for you to save you a little bit of a hassle, but by saving you a little bit of a hassle, they're depriving you of the much needed procedure, which is essential to your learning process. I'm a student in your White Hat ethical hacking course. Oh, guys, there are a lot of questions. Just slow down a little bit. I can answer them pretty fast, but it takes time to actually read them. I'm using a Kali VM in boxes. Oh no. Yeah, you can, but boxes is a bit of a simplistic solution. I would recommend using a Virt Manager. Virt Manager is amazing in terms of potential. For CentOS 7, I could not load CentOS 7 in boxes and fails. So following instructions. So later on Windows I installed VirtualBox. But same problem, VirtualBox, I cannot connect to my wireless. Yes, you won't be able to connect to your wireless at all. Because all the virtualized machines, they do not have direct hardware access to your wireless card, so therefore they can't actually use it as a wireless card. You need one of those. Let me fetch it. Oh God. Okay, so Rodney, you need one of these USB wireless adapters, which you can actually pass to your virtual machine. See, my mind just takes a break and pauses. It doesn't really care that I can't speak. So bottom line, you won't be able to use the wireless unless you have a USB Wi-Fi card, which you can actually pass to the virtual machine. You cannot use your integrated wireless card with your virtual machine. No virtualizer can do that anyway, to the best of my knowledge. And I would gladly troubleshoot it with you, but there is nothing to fix. It just doesn't work like that. You cannot use your integrated wireless card with your virtual machine. You need a separate USB card, which you can then pass to the virtual machine. There is a video about that on my YouTube channel. But if you get stuck, just, ask a question or tune in back in the session and I'll help you out. Can I increase my PC RAM? Right click. Okay, I'm guessing that's RAM. Yes, you should be able to do so. There shouldn't be any problems with that. Just plug in another plate or two of RAM and that's it. If there's only one programming language for you to choose, what language would you choose? Well, I would definitely go for C++, but since there is an alternative to it, I generally tend to use Java. I'm having problems with beef on Kali. Is there any good short tip to update it or any page to explain that? Beef working with two virtual machines involved, but when I try with real there's a problem. Well, Bastian, the primary problem is there, the IP addresses, because you've been using thus far between the virtual machines your private range of IP addresses. But if you go outside of your own network, you're gonna encounter a public range of IP addresses, where things become a little bit more complicated. It functions in a little bit of a different way. Actually, in a completely different way. This way, I want to send a big thank you to Ermin for sharing. Oh my god, thank you. Thank you, Pauls. Thank you so much. Thank you for your gratitude, and also thank you for making a break in a line of questions. Same problem with me. Yes, all these frameworks and programs that tend to work that very well for penetration testing in LAN, they have completely different configurations and completely different ways of functioning when the outside world is concerned. That's something that a lot of the instructors for ethical hacking courses don't actually share with you, because it's really a hassle to set everything up. What's your preferred programming language? Java. I really like programming in Java. No, Club Finance. I don't really offer private lessons. Aside from actually selling the courses, all this is for free. So no, this is not sponsored. Nobody's paying me to do this. I simply saw that there are way too many questions that I can't really answer, and I've decided to actually I physically can't answer them because the time needed to answer them would be enormous. So I figured I would just host a live session and everybody could basically ask whatever they would want to ask, free of any charge or need to register or whatever. Is C++ old to learn, or is it still used? C++, okay, Abdullah. C++ is the most used programming language, period. Why? Your operating system uses it. Actually, the majority of your operating system uses it. It doesn't matter whether it's a Mac or Linux or Windows, they all use C, C++. Drivers for all the devices, this is what they tend to use, C or C++, and assembly. Java itself runs on top of C++. So every device that is running Java is actually running C++ as well. It's basically the most used language ever. And that still stands. Live Fedora just doesn't work in Windows. Live Fedora will never work in Windows. You cannot have two operating systems at the same time. You can just boot Live Fedora and then have it as a system, or you can have a virtual machine of Fedora, or you can have Windows. You cannot have Live Fedora running in Windows. That is not possible. If you did not understand the explanation, please let me know. I will give some deeper insights there. And what is the best programming language for ethical hacking? Well, I tend to use a combination of them. I primarily use Java and C++, of course. I tend to use a good amount of Bash. But really, what it comes down to is your ability to adapt to the given environment. For example, we're going to be writing some code, and that's going to mess around with a Windows machine, and we're going to mess around with it in a really interesting way, where we're going to be able to creep the user out of the Windows machine, basically to creep him out with some very spooky sound messages that are going to be played at random. But no, there isn't just one programming language that you need to know for ethical hacking. You need to know, you need to have programming basics. You need to be very well versed in at least 2 to 3 languages and be able to rapidly adapt to pretty much any other programming language depending on the environment that you are trying to compromise. Okay, what would you say is the best way to download Linux on Mac? Well, you basically just go to their website and download it from there. The download procedure is the same on any operating system. You just go to the website and click on the download button. Could you please provide a link of the newer course? Yes, please. Just toss a link of the newer course into the stream, please. Because I can't be at 100 places at once. My friend is over there sitting next to me, but she's like, she really doesn't want to pop into the camera for some reason. I don't know. Yes, the link is coming, Storyteller. The link is coming. Okay, you teach me more than one course in ethical hacking. I do not understand the question, Marty. You teach more? Aha, okay. You teach more than one course in ethical hacking. Well, there was the old one, and that one got out of date. And then I created a new one. And in the new one, I've decided to adapt more to the demands of the users and students, where I go really in depth, covering the code basically behind the applications that you use and how to create your own pen testing tools, how to get into the depth of all things and not just scratch the surface of it all. Have you heard of Cyber Days site for learning? Are they any good? No, I did not hear about. I have no idea who they are. I can check them out, but I've never heard of them. It's not about this, but in general, it's not about the site. It's about who's actually holding the course itself. But then again, people who host good courses, they tend to choose their platforms rather well. It's not allowed to put links here. Oh, okay. Can you just send me a link on the Hangouts? I'll post it. I'll see if I can post it actually. Or if I'm also banned from posting links. Okay, so hello, Ermin. Can you give career advice for cybersecurity? I've learned a lot from your Udemy courses and I also want to learn more and get certified or maybe a degree. Okay, so in regard to the cybersecurity career, rarely anybody actually starts off as a cybersecurity expert. It's the term generally used as a security researcher. Oh my god, my phone is really loud. Okay, let me just pop a link here. There you go. That's the link to the new ethical hacking course. Anyway, as I started talking about the career itself, rarely anybody actually starts off as a cybersecurity expert. Usually people start off being admins or programmers and slowly they advance in ranks, eventually getting a job in the field. But initially, without experience, you're not gonna get anywhere. You generally work as a system admin, managing the servers, managing the networks, or as a programmer somewhere, and then you slowly begin advancing towards the security field. But one of the fastest ways is basically being an admin on a very large network. There, you basically are a pen tester because you are defending that network 24/7 from all sorts of cybersecurity attacks. And it gives you ample opportunity to learn and see what's going on and give you some fantastic and amazing experiences. Okay, following the question at Hagup asked, going for official certifications in security ethical hacking jobs, what would you recommend? Get experience as a network admin. If you can come to a company and say, hey, I've worked protecting these servers for a year, that's going to be far more valuable than any sort of a certificate, as far as I've seen anyway. Because in my company, when we tend to hire people, the first thing that we ask is like, what have you done before? The thing that we ask the last is basically what sort of certificates that do you have, unless these certificates are amazingly good. Beyond amazing, they're not going to play that. They're going to play a role, definitely, but the thing that's going to give you the most edge is the actual experience in the field. And the best way to get the experience in the field is by defending large-scale networks or being a part of that defense in a sense of a system administrator. Oh, yes, I do like spreading the gospel of computer science, club's finest. I'm glad you have decided to choose that field. There are ample job opportunities. I have one more question. Is your second course entirely different from the first one? Yes, it is completely different from the first one. It takes a completely different approach. An approach that is far better in my mind because we take a look at the real things and we see what is doable and what is not. And because you have a lot of these courses out there that promise you a lot. They promise you like that you're going to eat with golden spoons basically, but trust me, they're not going to deliver because I've seen a lot of them and they show these fancy images with Kali and some commands in the terminal and it looks all flashy, etc. But there is little substance to. There's actually very little substance to it. Okay, this is getting slowly out of. This is really getting slowly out of hand. I have one more question. Okay, what about Python? I'm a fit in masters. I learned C++, but I thought Python is better for pen testing. You can't really say that one thing is better for pen testing than the other. I'm just going to refer to you as Ada because R95 Ada is a little bit lengthy to pronounce. I hope you don't mind. Anyway, if you're writing a exploitation tool, for example, for Windows, Python is basically going to be a no-go due to the dependencies tied to Python, while C++ has no dependencies and C++ compiled code can run on the platform for which it was compiled without pretty much any dependencies. Java, for example, cannot do that because Java has a VM environment on which it is dependent. Have you heard of Mariana's Web? Yes, I have heard of it. And Niket, I have heard of it. I got GTX 970 as well, as a Strix. My resolution in Fedora goes from 640 to. I tried to install the driver in 64-bit, but I'm stuck with the terminal. There is nothing from NVIDIA. The NVIDIA drivers for Linux are pretty good, but may I ask you, why do you need the GTX 970 on Linux? Just a question, and then I'm gonna go ahead and help you out there as much as I can. What are you making coding? I'm gonna get to this code. I'll basically explain every line of it as I usually do, so don't worry about it. This is just a portion of it. There's more to go all around the place. Would you say downloading Kali Linux on a virtual machine is better than your actual PC? Rocknack, I did not understand the question. Just, is it better to download it or run it? Is it better to have a VM or run it natively? Well, run it natively would be better, if that was the question. Thank you very much for taking your time to help us. My pleasure. I'm glad that I can actually help you, and I will be even happier if I do actually help you. Could you talk a little bit about yourself? Where did you study? Do you have degrees? Okay, that would take a lot. let me just go ahead and skip that for now. I'll come back to it. Is there a way to bypass HSTS efficiently yet? If so, how? Yes, there is a way. It's just not exactly user friendly. Let me put it to you that way. It's basically a timing attack. It's basically a timing attack on the that targets the NTP protocol, network time protocol, and it makes the certificates HSTS headers actually expire. Not the certificates, but the headers expire, and then you have a small window of opportunity to actually utilize. So that actually does work. What is he doing with Arduino? We're going to create a small exploit for Windows with it, and we're going to use Arduino to actually deploy that exploit. But the Q&A section comes first. It gives a chance for more people to tune in, and it gives a chance for people to ask a ton load of questions, which I'm really ashamed to say I did not actually answer on Udemy simply because I couldn't catch all of them. Actually, I'm using Windows as my host operating system. That might be causing the problem, as you said, and you're a really great teacher. Thank you. Just bought the ethical hacking course, beginner to advanced, only about 3 days ago. Should I cancel and buy a newer one? Yes, go for the newer one. You can get a refund, no questions asked, so don't worry about it. I mean, what is your most favorite and least favorite experience? Oh my god, my throat's becoming dry. Get me a glass of water. Oh my god, that doesn't sound good. But I've been trying to talk like really fast and the throat is completely dry. Wait. What is your favorite and least favorite experience that happened to you? I don't know. My least favorite experiences happened to me during the school. I hated that place. My favorite experience was starting my own business, if that's what you were asking. Tomorrow is my exam. Can you tell me the difference between B/W home, home, and home? Thank you. Well, it depends in what context, really. The $ home, that looks like a variable. Home looks like, I do not know. You can literally create 10 different meanings for each one of them now. Oh my god, that feels so good. So Gino, sorry. There are a lot of meanings for those things. When you put them out like this, contextually, they can be a lot of things. But I can tell you that this middle one, the $home, is most likely a variable. Thanks for the info about the wireless card not working in a VM. However, as I said, and I must point out, my wireless card does indeed work perfectly with Kali in boxes VM on Fedora 25. What sort of wireless card is it? Is it like a USB wireless card or is it an integrated wireless card? And I don't think it can actually work with boxes. You can just use it to connect to the internet, but you cannot see the Wi-Fi access points. Can you see on Kali in boxes the Wi-Fi access points? Should I use Kali to hack into NASA? Yeah, no, definitely shouldn't, but that would be a bad idea. And there are a lot of people just try doing this sort of nonsense, but most of them fail and people get caught like really easily. What could cause problems in Nginx to give me 500 error and rewrite or internal redirection cycle permissions? Either a folder doesn't exist or it cannot be accessed or something like that, or the user permissions are set improperly. Or the reverse proxy is not functional. So one of those, I would say. I bought Alpha and I cannot use it on Kali in a VM. I set the USB filter, but it still doesn't work. How can I connect to my Wi-Fi adapter? Let me just go ahead and take a look at the model of that. Did you check on the Aircrack website? Is this actually compatible? Because I've listed one that was compatible. AWS 036H. Yeah, this is not the one that I have. Mine ends with NHR version 2. So that one works. But you need to go to the Aircrack website and they have a list of compatible chipsets. So just go ahead and see what you can get from there. To see if your wireless card is actually compatible. How much money can a pen tester make? A lot. A lot. My god, my throat is gonna murder me. I'm facing the issue for installing Kali Linux using Ubuntu 16.04-bit. Can you show me how to install in Ubuntu? But what are you trying to achieve? Is this a VM installation or dual boot or what? Because if you already have Ubuntu, I don't think that you need Kali, because most of the things that you can do, pretty much everything that you can do in Kali, you can do in Ubuntu. They're both Debian-based distributions. This is delayed. I'm guessing you're referring to the stream. Maybe. I honestly have no idea. Is it delayed? You have no idea as well. Well, can't you just monitor it? Yeah, okay. It doesn't look like it's delayed, but could be. I don't know. How to get certificate of completion for ethical hacking course? Well, basically, like any other course in Udemy, I think you just, at the end of the course, you just click get certificate, and that's it. If you're having problems with obtaining a certificate on Udemy, just contact their technical support. They're very, very forthcoming, and they will have that done for you in no time. They can process fast for that. Yes, the GTX can help you with the brute attack, and I have actually done that. I mean, I've shown it in the course, and let me put it to you this way. The CPU, my CPU, can do 10,000 permutations per second, while the two GPUs, the two GTX 970s, went all the way up to almost 200,000 permutations per second for the wireless passwords. But it still doesn't bring you to where you want to be. Okay, Rodney, after installing Fedora on a separate partition, Group 2, the boot choice menu, I no longer can access my BIOS ability to boot from USB. Any thoughts? You don't get a BIOS prompt, probably, but reboot the machine and just keep pressing really fast the button which actually takes you to BIOS. I don't know, it's either F2, F10, F12, or Del button, depending on your computer. Just because you don't actually get a prompt for BIOS telling you which buttons to press doesn't mean that you can't access it. Just try blindly pressing the buttons. It should take you to BIOS. I mean, the operating system cannot prevent you from that. It doesn't have that many permissions at all. It doesn't actually go that far in. Can you advise a place to learn ethical hacking besides Udemy courses? Is there any good book or website that you advise us to learn? The art of hacking is not something that you have seen in a movie. They tend to create a completely false image. The art of hacking is basically spending 16 hours a day in front of your computer becoming a vegetable, so to say. I would advise you to go on to the DEF CON website, DEF CON conference website, and check out their videos on YouTube and have a look at the testimonials from the world leading hackers and see their stories and see what they had to actually go through to get to where they are now. So that would be definitely a very good and strong starting point, because they will also share their paths in life and how have they learned and where they have went and how they have learned. So that's definitely something I would recommend. No, it's not delayed. Oh, excellent. The stream is not delayed at all. Is running Kali in a VM on a Mac okay? Is there a good way to dual? Don't dual boot in a Mac. Once you dual boot, the process is almost impossible to reverse, as you need a custom bootloader to download it. And not only do you need a custom bootloader, but you also need to modify it yourself to actually work, or at least I had to. Just go with a VM on a Mac. It's far less hassle. Can I send you a PM on Udemy? I have completed your latest course with Nginx problem I have. Send me an email. Send me an email if you can. But I can't really troubleshoot the Nginx problem for you, because I would actually need to be there. I would need to have access to that server, and I don't really want that. If you have a 500 error, most likely you don't have you most likely have some sort of permission problems. If you have that problem on Nginx, what is running the front end of your application and what is running the back end of your application? Which framework have you used? Should I buy both courses, or should I just go with the latest one? Don't buy both of them. There's no need. Because actually I have purchased the old one 7 days ago. You can still get a refund for the old one if you want. Can we encrypt every directory I'm assuming in our file system, even when the system is in sleep mode? I do not understand the question. Nikith, I do not understand the question. It says, can we encrypt every directory in your file system even when the system is in sleep mode? No, you need to rephrase that. I'm sorry. Hello, Massachusetts. I've been enjoying your hacking courses. Thank you, Ron. Wow, people from all over the place are tuning in. It's good to see that. Is it difficult to deploy Django to Apache? Thank you, Tarek. Thank you. This is one of my friends, and we have struggled with this deployment. Well, we haven't actually struggled. It was a 2-3 day thing, but considering that I've never deployed it before to Apache, yeah, it was a fun learning experience. I mean, are there any targets or any pages students can attack to practice, or am I limited to attacking? No, I'm pretty sure there are websites out there. You just need to see their terms of service. There are some which are out there for the testing. But it's not that hard to deploy your own website in the cloud and then test attacks on that site. This is test for me. They made that VPS only for me. I will send you an email. Okay, Champa, but what is running on the server besides Nginx that it's giving you a 500 error? Is there what sort of programming language is running your front end, and what sort of programming language is running your back end? Are you Nginx is just a web server. I do now indeed connect to the internet in my CentOS VM after connecting with my Ethernet card instead of Wi-Fi. The fact that you can connect to the internet does not mean that the Wi-Fi card has been recognized by the VM. It just means that the VM is able to use it in order to connect through the internet through the host system. But the VM itself is not actually using the Wi-Fi card. Like on boxes, just go over to Kali, which is like your VM within boxes, and see if you can actually see the list of wireless access. Oppa! If you can see the list of your wireless access points, because I mean you shouldn't be able to. If you do, I mean please do let me know. PHP is in backend. Okay, what is in the front end? It's called Linux, but it seems that the Mac changer doesn't work anywhere. Is there a fix for the problem? Why doesn't it work? What is the problem? What are you getting as an error? Do you use Multango and USB rubber duck key? No, I tend to make my own things. Basically, they just take Arduino, and then I can reprogram it pretty much any way I want to deploy anything that I want. Rubber ducky is a good thing, but I mean, it really is a good thing. But I feel that if I got it, it would deprive me of my learning experience to do it myself. I'm generally down to the dirt guy that likes to do things himself. Metasploitable 2 and 3 are good for testing your skills. As I said, Metasploit just offers you finished things that are mostly detectable by other systems, and you don't get to learn as much. You get to learn to use the tool, but you don't get to see what's actually underneath. It is a good tool, though. Can you track my location if I use a VPN and my VPN provider doesn't keep any logs? I'm wondering what sort of VPN provider doesn't keep any logs, but it's highly unlikely that your location will be traced unless you have some sort of misconfiguration going on there. But I'm pretty sure just because somebody says that they're not keeping logs doesn't mean that they're not. 150,000 of what? Dollars? Yeah, sure, it's possible. Just as I said to the previous person, go over to the DEF CON conference and see how much money some of the top guys are making. Yeah, messages with Apple or Google. I do not understand. No, actually, we won't be doing almost any bash in the live stream. I'm just leaving the buffer in terms of time for people who have questions. And once that part is done, we can go over and jump into the code. As I said before, if the idea was to leave the first segment of time for the Q&A so that people could ask all the questions that I didn't get to answer in Udemy. And that would give time for the amount of people to tune into the live session. And on top of that, I would be able to answer your questions and have the code displayed and have the demo ready for everybody present, for more people present, that is. Private internet access doesn't keep logs. Okay, so who has private internet access, I wonder? That doesn't keep logs. Nah, that's basically a myth. That's a myth. Is this live stream? No. Are there any good Arch64 repo for penetration for pen testing tools? Any Linux will do, basically. I prefer to use Fedora because it's extremely good for development, but you can use the repositories of pretty much any Linux out there for what I'm doing, basically. If I want to compromise a system, I'm going to make my own tools, and I'm going to make something that they didn't see before, so that system is not prepared for it. If you just use the finished things, everybody's going to be prepared for you. If you're using, I'm not sure about Arch, but if you have like any Debian based distro will be able to use Kali's repos, I think, from Blackmore something like that. Your course is fun and very informative. Thank you, thank you. Wow, even from Egypt. Well, people are actually coming from all around the world. I'm running ARM architecture. I have Temax app. Okay, so why is it not working? What's happening? What is the error message that you're getting that the Mac changer is not working? Oh, so you're running it on Android. Oh wow, okay. That machine is gonna be pretty slow. Or at least I think, I don't know. It should be. It's being emulated on an ARM architecture. But it's so cool that you've actually managed to do that. Oh, my screen keeps locking. I'm using a VM for Kali Linux installation in Ubuntu OS session 9. Not getting the first 10 minutes for installation process. I'm using VM for Kali. So I don't understand. What is the problem? If you what virtualizer are you using on Ubuntu? No, I did not use Kali Mobile OS. I just use the stock version of Android on a Nexus device. Yeah, they moved the Metasploit to MSF Venom, I think, bench track. So try the MSF Venom. I think it was moved over there. And you need to make sure that you have the proper code for ARM architecture so that you can actually compile things and have all the dependencies installed prior to the actual attempt of compilation. Is there a way that someone can hack into your WhatsApp app and read your messages? I mean, I can't say that there isn't, but you can never prove that a system is secure. You can only prove that it is not. But I have Nmap and Hydra and SQL map node, but it's nothing for hacking. You need to check the code that you're compiling, and you need to check that you have all the dependencies for it. If it's not compiling, the compiler is gonna tell you why is it actually failing. If you're on Android, you should see if your device can run NetHunter. Yeah, NetHunter actually has been reported to work pretty well in terms of compatibility anyway. Do you have any courses for Fedora? No, I was thinking of creating a series for YouTube. I just need to find the time. Speaking of rubber ducky, have you heard of the new Bash Bunny? If so, any thoughts or impressions? I honestly didn't. I might have heard about it. Let me just go ahead and refresh myself. Let me just see who is the creator of that. Oh, it's from them as well. I don't know. I didn't honestly review it. I'm looking at it as we speak. But this is not something that you cannot create yourselves. I mean, if you want a finished product, sure, but it's nothing that you cannot create yourselves. And it's far, far better to actually do it yourselves because you will learn a lot. I put the card down, use the MAC changer, and it shows me the new MAC address. When I put my card back up, yeah, it gets reset. Well, you can manually change the MAC address if you want. I've never seen a MAC changer actually fail, but if it does, you can change it manually. There are plenty of links on the net. Just type in how to change the MAC address manually of my NIC network integrated card. That's new to Bash Bunny. Is Kali Linux the best? No, absolutely not. I would not agree that Kali Linux or the Backtrack or any of those distributions are in any way, form, or manner best for the world of pen testers. No, there are not the sort of distributions that you can really utilize to the fullest of extents on a daily basis. And all that they really offer is a bunch of pre-installed tools. That's it. You can install those tools anywhere else. It's no big deal. If all you're getting is an operating system which comes pre-installed with certain things, and you can install those same things on pretty much any other Linux distribution. I mean, why bother? I would rather install them myself on other distributions just to see how it works. What hacking skills should a network engineer have? How important are hacking skills when applying this for a job? I wouldn't list them as hacking skills. There's being security conscious and being able to demonstrate that to your employer does carry a lot of weight. Like that's especially if you have, for example, let's say that you are an admin and you need to, when you're working for a company where they do web development and you're in charge of deployment, they want to know that the guy who is deploying knows his job and is security conscious so that he's actually thinking about it. Can we erase our PC hard disk so that the data which was on it couldn't be recovered like Kevin Mitnick used to do before FBI caught him? Kevin Mitnick didn't actually erase the data on the disk, he just encrypted it. So as long as you have very strong encryption, and as long as only you know the key, there is basically very, very small chance that anybody will be able to actually access the information aside from you. Syntax to pass a string to FTP login through the command line. You can use a pipe for that. Just I generally don't use FTP. I use SCP instead because it comes pre-installed with the SSH, and I don't have the hassle of setting something else up or opening up another port. Plus, all the data in transit is encrypted. But you can try piping it. Just put a pipe in front of the FTP login. And there is a bash bench track. There is a bash for that library called expect. I think it's called expect. No, in bash. Go ahead and take a look at the library expect. I think that should be it. I think that's the name for it. I used to use it long ago. Yeah, it is. It's a very nice library whereby you get to put expecting things to expect. And the bash basically logs into the server, and then it expects a reply from the server that the login is successful. Once the login is successful, it can issue another command. And when that command is successful, it can issue another, and so on into the infinity. Maybe by overwriting all the data. No, just encrypt it. That's enough. If you just encrypt the disk and destroy the encryption keys permanently, or never write them down in the first place, that's it. You can, aside from encrypting the disk, you can just after the encryption, you can actually format the disk once, and that's it. It's not going to happen. On top of that, you can also initialize the long format whereby all the entire disk, the entire bitmap of the disk is initialized to zeros. So whatever is recovered will actually be in an encrypted format, and uncovering a fragmented encryption is pretty much a job impossible. Okay. What kind of computer knowledge is required to hack into database websites? Hackers are usually good programmers. Yeah, they know a lot about it. Database and website, well, you need to know how to actually build a website and how to create a database. You must understand the subject itself before you can actually do anything about it. Usually the person who can actually hack it is the person who understands it better than the one working on it. Also, I finished an advanced keylogger course in C++ with a complete code. I did not receive email. The keys pushed. Check out the log files. No deities. Check out the log files. I've demoed the keylogger. It does work. We've actually tried it on a lot of machines, on voluntary participants. They were voluntary participants. It works 100%. From Windows 7 onwards, it's not going to work from Windows 7 downwards. It's just not. From Windows 7 upwards, it will work for sure. Also, no deities, you can take a look at the code on GitHub. and see if you can compile my code from there and see if that works. How can we erase the data? Can you explain? Is this like a Nikith, is this a reference to your previous question? You don't basically erase it, you encrypt it, and then post encryption, you just format the disk. I'm not sure what operating system are you using, so the procedure varies. You can just give me a little bit more information. I'm gonna help you out there. What were some must-know programming languages for pen testing? I'm pretty good in Python. Well, Python is definitely one of them. Bash is definitely another one. C++ is a must-have. Well, not maybe perhaps not like super advanced knowledge of C++, but definitely of C and C++. You need to go down to the hardware level, and Java is definitely beneficial. Aside from those, you would need to, as I said before, you would need to be able to adapt your knowledge to the programming languages used by the environments which you are trying to compromise. For example, if you're trying to compromise a Windows machine, you would need to know a little bit you would need to know how the PowerShell works, for example, which is a very hateful thing for me, but you would need to know that. What were some okay, and decent, okay. Can I get a refund for my course for the old one because I want to join the new one if possible? Yes, you can get a refund, but I cannot give it to you. You need to go through Udemy. And the refund is basically just a few clicks. No questions asked. You just basically go through a few clicks. They give you a refund, and you can take a new one. How far you got in the deep web? Have you been in Mariana's web? No, I haven't been in Mariana's web. In the deep web, I don't know. I don't generally go there. There isn't a lot of interesting stuff for me personally. Just a lot of disgusting stuff. Deep. No, a lot of the sites there are hoaxes, and there's a lot of generally just wrong, very, very, very wrong things that people get to post there. Okay. Yes, please tell me about the reality of the deep web. Okay, sure. I mean, I did explore it extensively, but I generally just didn't have that much interest. What would you say? Okay. So the reality of the deep web is basically that you're placing your trust in someone else who is God knows where, doing God knows what, that they will be holding your best interest in mind in terms of anonymity. That's the reality of the deep web, because you have to make the hops over the Tor network, and whoever holds the nodes in the Tor network basically owns your traffic and the direction of your traffic. Okay. Oh, Nikith, use Linux. You need Lux encryption. Just take a look at it on the net. Type in Lux encryption with an L, and there's basically like 10 billion step-by-step guides on how to encrypt your partitions. Upon encrypting them, all you need to do is type in mkfs dot, I don't know, x step 4 space your partition and reformat it. After that, pretty much nobody will be able to recover anything from them. I mean, they won't be able unless they're magicians. If they do recover something from them, I would very much like to meet these people. What would you say the best distro is for pen testers? The best distro for pen testers is the one that offers the greatest support for development, which at the moment is Fedora. Through my eyes, anyway. Hardware like binary? No, not like binary. Just need to go down to the hardware level in terms of C and C++. So not binary. C and C++ syntax. It is a human-readable syntax. And also assembly, which is also considered to be a human-readable syntax, but I would tend to argue there. Okay, Rami. Hi, Ermin. I'm just starting out on networking, and I plan to do a mesh network of robots or a swarm. Do you have an idea how I can play with networks on Arduino. No, this is not a problem. You just need a. Depends how you want to go about things. You can either use a Bluetooth adapter or wireless adapter, and you need to do some welding, and basically all your robots will have Wi-Fi capabilities. It's not even that expensive. It's actually pretty cheap. Do you know how to shell onion site? What does it mean to shell an onion site? Would it be better to have a more structured series? What does it mean? What do you mean by that? More structured series. Which classes that we can get a refund on? We can get a refund on the old one to get a new one if you want. What is closed shell network? Okay, when did you start? Oh my god, there are a lot of people here. When did I start? I'm honestly not sure what a closed shell network is. Myself, I don't know. I did not hear of it. I guess it would be from what I can see from the title, it would be something that's restricted in form of access, so that only certain pools of users can actually access it and contribute to it and pull from it, while it's actually completely severed from the main net. When did you start ethical hacking? I don't really know when did I start. I know I started messing around with computers pretty early on in my life. Greetings from Banya Luca. Okay, greetings from Sarajevo as well. Wow, okay, thank you for tuning in. Didn't realize that there were a lot of people from here either. And what if I use a premium VPN and go to Tor, hops from there? What if I use premium VPN and go to the Tor hops from there, and we still waiting for side info about you? Oh, okay, yeah. I'm sorry. I'm gonna go ahead. I don't like talking about myself that much. I would say that your connection would be pretty slow. Your connection would be very slow. And go to and you basically make 3 Tor hops: one entry point, midpoint, and exit point. So, Club Finest, could you help me out here a little bit? What would you like to know about me in specific? Fedora is giving me difficulties with wireless connection. It doesn't even recognize my route. Well, Linux in general is a little bit stingy on Wi-Fi drivers, so you need to check the compatibility of your Linux with the drivers. Basically, not of your Linux, but of Linux in general. Does it actually have the drivers for the wireless card for which you wish to use it? It's very stingy in that part. Why Fedora would be the best pen testing OS? Kali has lots of tools and stuff. Wouldn't that be better? Okay, why would Kali be better? Just because it has a lot of pre-installed tools? You can install those tools on Windows if you wanted. All those tools you could install basically on Windows. Fedora would be good because it's fantastic for development. It's supported by Red Hat, so it's very stable. Well, it's an unstable distribution. It's testing grounds, but it employs all the latest technologies. And it has marvelous support in terms of development libraries. IDEs tend to function with it rather well, and it really does support you in every way possible. What does Kali have? Just a bunch of pre-installed tools. That's it, which you can install anywhere, including Windows. If I can't find exploits on my router on the DB exploit, and by searching it on Google, is it still possible to have an exploit? Yes, of course. Pretty much all the home routers have one exploit or another. It cannot recognize or not recognize your router. Only your Wi-Fi card can actually detect the advertising of your router. So you have a driver issue between the kernel of Fedora and your Wi-Fi card, as in you don't have the proper drivers installed, or the drivers themselves are not functional. You said that the best hackers, PhD in computer science. How can somebody learn the whole process? Well, usually you begin by programming, and then you basically, along the way, end up in pen testing. But you have to learn about computer science, whether on your own or through school, doesn't matter. But you have to learn about it as much as you can, about programming, about the ways that not only computers but ways in which machines tend to work. Can you see your PM on Udemy? No, I cannot, because I didn't actually. Udemy is not open for me at the moment. It's completely closed. And I can't really open it now because the damn site, it takes forever to load. I don't know why. Like whichever page I tend to open, it's forever. The loading takes forever. Jumpa, just send me an email. How to get IP address from a email, Gmail in particular now. The Gmail doesn't show. I'm pretty sure that every mail client shows the sender's IP. You can get that in the headers. Where did you study? What's your degree? Did you like school? I guess you're from Bosnia, like my girlfriend. Why is your English so fluent? I hated school. I dropped out, and I don't have a degree. Let me reiterate that. I hated my school, and I generally despised all my teachers there as well, because they would torture me on end with their rather closed mindsets. Okay, why is your English so fluent? I do not know. Honestly, I didn't actually. I guess I started learning it pretty early on in my life, around the age of 5, I think, or so. So that's why it's rather fluent. I guess that would be my best guess. What is the best way to fix driver issues? By looking around for the proper drivers, either proprietary or from Linux open source drivers. Either find open source drivers or go to the manufacturer website and find the drivers themselves. They usually have separate sections for Linux and Windows and Mac drivers. Please make a video tutorial for how to set up network between different OSs in Oracle VirtualBox. What do you mean set up network between different OSs? Because the network is already set up the moment you actually install the operating system and connect it. If you could, okay, Panti, if you could explain on that a little bit, if you could elaborate on that matter a bit more, I would be happy to help you. Okay, I was trying to port forward my router ports to my single Java multithread web server, to my simple Java multithread web server, but it seems that my router VAN IP or something is not the same as my public IP. Yes. Wait, VAN IP is not the same. Okay, maybe you are behind. Maybe your router is behind another router. So maybe you're actually inside of a NAT. Where are you from, Rami? Which country? Because I know that some countries actually have very deep NAT networks. So until you actually reach your public IP address, it takes a while. I mean, it takes a lot of hops within that. What did you recommend for setting up the development environment? Debian or Fedora? Fedora, definitely. Fedora has a bit of a learning curve. I'm from Lebanon, it seems so. Yeah, you are behind the NAT. NAT is a network address translation. You can look it up on the net. So basically, there's another router in front of your router, which actually has a public IP, and you do not. You just tend to go through its. If you're wondering how I know, I know because I've spoken to some people from Cisco, and then they've shown me like the separation by countries and how many IP addresses were assigned to countries, and how big the NAT networks and how extensively are they used by country. So that's how I stumbled upon this answer straight away. I'm pretty sure, Nick, it shows the sender's original IP because I've extracted it before. Maybe they've changed something in the last year or something like that, but uh, I'm like 100% sure that I have been extracting these IP addresses. It's basically how you know if you're. It's one of the fundamental reveals if it's a spam message or not. If I have a nasty bot and I have all the wait, if I have a nasty bot and I have all the updates, what is usually the problem? Could it be a driver? I have NVIDIA drivers. I don't get it. What does it mean if I have a nasty bot? Boot. Ah, okay. Boot. I have all the updates. What is usually the problem? Could it be a driver? Huh. Again, what do you mean by nasty boot? Is it a slow boot procedure or does it fail to boot? Is there a way to create my own VPN? Yes, there is definitely a way to create your own VPN, and that is a fairly simplistic process. Although there's something called a SOCKS 5 proxy, which can be created by using a reversed SSH connection, which is probably one of the best systems for using a buffer and anonymizing yourself. But yes, you can also create your own VPN. It's a little bit of a hassle, but a very good and a strong learning experience. How do I do that? My question is, okay, bench track, I have lost you. How do I do what? I'm so sorry. You promised to bring an advanced version of the keylogger. In the previous course, yes, and I have. It's on GitHub. It's to protect sender's privacy. I don't know, they must have changed it. Then, how? Is there a way to create my own VPN? It fails to boot and I have to restart my computer 4 times. Okay, but I'm guessing on the 5th time it actually works out. If that is the case, either the graphics or something else could be a problem. Perhaps, yeah. There is a way whereby you actually recreate the boot partitions, and that has the potential to solve the problem. But if you don't know what you're doing, I wouldn't recommend it. I'm willing to learn. Well, if you just type in DigitalOcean, how to set up a VPN, you'll get a very, very detailed guide. And Bentrack, if you could just repeat the question, please. I seem to have lost you. I will gladly answer you. What features will you add? Well, the features that were actually added was to make the keylogger persistent across reboots. So it's not going to disappear anywhere, and it's hiding itself within System32. So it has all the admin privileges that you can imagine. How do I include reverse TCP exploit to the app? Say a game in Metasploit and send it to the victim. I don't have access to the victim's phone. Well, you don't really need to include that exploit into a game. If you can make a game, you can make your own reverse connection. That's a far, far better thing to do. Okay. Where are you talking? Okay, never mind. Apparently my girlfriend joined the stream as well, which is going to be a lovely experience. Let me just shut off my phone. Okay, do not disturb. 4 hours. Okay, so let me just go back. I feel I'm willing to learn. What features will you add? Where was I? I completely forgot. How do I include reverse TCP? Yeah, you basically don't include that reverse TCP exploit in the app. You do not use that exploit in the app. That is a no-go. Here's why, Benchtrack. Because if you submit that game onto Google Play Store or an iPhone Store or Apple Store, they will see it in there. You need to have a reverse connection for updates of the game through which you will actually be able to extract information, and in the long run modify the code to actually have remote access to that particular device. But to include a reverse TCP exploit would be a very bad idea. It's going to be detected by the security systems of the operating system. It's going to be detected by the people who are reviewing the apps, and that's really not a good idea. DigitalOcean, yes, DigitalOcean, or it doesn't have to be DigitalOcean. It can be Amazon Amazon web hosting services or Google hosting services. Anywhere, they all have guides on how to set up VPN, like literally one step at a time. I've reconstructed my partitions quite a few times from tutorials you provided. It didn't help. I don't. Yeah, this is a bit of a tricky one. What about sending a snapshot and accessing webcams? Okay, I'll explain that in a moment. Why accessing webcams is a mission impossible, but I don't know. If you've reconstructed the partitions and if you fail to boot, take a look at the system logs. Brian, take a look at the system logs in /var/logs and find the system files there for boot procedure. And see what actually happens during the boot. Where does the error happen? See the crash logs from the failed attempts of boot. What about sending snapshots and accessing webcams? Snapshots you can take and you can send. That's not really a big deal. I mean, it does consider a bit of extra code. Accessing webcams, that's not going to happen because there are a lot of different webcams and accessing them is a nightmare. I mean, not in terms of security, but in just terms of writing a lot of code. Taking snapshots, you can take them, but I mean, why? You already have all the keystrokes and you already have all the sites that were visited. It's far easier to actually open up the sites that you've visited than to actually take snapshots of them. Okay, wait, I'm losing it again. Is Fedora Workstation? I should really start with the code soon, but go ahead and ask as many more questions as you like, and then we'll start the exercise. Is Fedora Workstation looking for ISO to download? Yes, you need an ISO file, and then from that ISO file you can make a bootable USB. Ermin, my friend's Facebook username and password was hacked. The thing is, my friend just clicked the link, and I'm sure it's not phishing because it didn't request the login again. That's not how Facebook hacking works, trust me. It does not work like that. Like 100%. How did you gather so much knowledge without going to college? You must be a genius. I am not a genius. I am very, very, very far from a genius. I just don't really have much of a social life. Let's put it like that. But I'm a person of less than average intellect, I would say. Thanks, you're awesome. What is the awk command? The awk command you basically use to separate. If you, for example, have a file, and within that file you wish to pull something out or format that file, a text file, in one way or another, you would use awk file to actually pull the formatted output from that file, because it does give you the option to specify fields and field delimiters. For example, field delimiters can be spaces or colons or semicolons. Field delimiters can be anything. And then you can take, for example, every third word by saying, okay, take a field delimiter space and print every third field, which will be 1 space, 2 space, 3 space. Have you updated the code on GitHub, and will you not add it in it? It's added. I added it on GitHub and in the tutorials. We did add the code for keylogger. All of it, right? And in the ethical hacking and the keylogger course, they were both added. Yeah, all the new ethical hacking and the keylogger course, they were both updated. So whoever had those two courses could have seen the code, could have seen the explanations to the code. The repositories on GitHub are publicly available, so you can have a look at the code there without actually having the course. Are you from Bosnia? Yes, I am from Bosnia. Okay, OpenVPN. What about OpenVPN? That is you have PPTP VPN and OpenVPN. PPTP is used by Windows systems and OpenVPN is used by Linux, if I'm not mistaken. If I am, if anybody's here knowledgeable in that regard, feel free to correct me. An editorial left with does not have feature for sending websites visited. It grabs all the passwords. It can be made to grab the profiles. We can add that in the future. I was planning on updates for this summer, where I will have a little bit more time, but I will update it further. One series of updates have been published. I can publish another series of updates. Okay, below average intellect. Dunning-Kruger is weak in this one. Okay. How awk is different from the cut dash df? Okay. It has more formatting options. That's it. It was published. Okay. Neda. I can't believe you're actually in the stream as well. That would be my girlfriend. She's probably here to troll me as well. What's your favorite Mac versus Windows versus Linux? What do you mean? What's your favorite Mac versus Windows versus Linux? Okay. I do not know why, but everybody at this point of time has decided to message me outside of the stream. Like, ranging from my relatives to my parents to my girlfriend to people that I know, etc. That's why you hear the beeping sounds. Okay, I guess you're asking me which one is my favorite operating system. Well, Linux, of course. I bought an old Mac so that I could actually support users on Udemy who use a Mac, so that I could help them out by basically being able to recreate their problems, and that's why I got a Mac. But on my main machine here, I have Fedora running. Why do you choose Fedora instead of Kali? Because it has far better support. Things tend to work on Fedora. And there is no benefit to Kali other than the fact that you just have a lot of stuff pre-installed. That's it. And Fedora is basically supported by Red Hat, which is amazing. Bro, do you mind coming live daily? Because we're gaining so much knowledge from this session. I mean, I'm very much involved. I am from India, and 1 a.m. and I need to attend college. Oh my god! Like, Nikit, get out of here. Go. You need to sleep. No, I do, guys. Like, you do not need to pay for anything. Like, seriously, this is completely for free. I just hosted this session so that I could answer your questions. There is no charge or mandatory registration involved here. This is all free of any sort of compensation, really. You can subscribe, but that's it. We're planning to become more active with the YouTube channel soon by posting more videos. Okay, like 15 more minutes for questions, and then we're going to get into code, because this has been going on for a while. And I think we have enough people. I didn't even check. Okay, yeah. Then you can use Ubuntu that supports well-to. Yes, I can. Ubuntu is also great. I just I don't know. It just didn't grow on me. It's a good one, but it just didn't grow on me. Recently bought your ethical hacking course. Will I get the knowledge of bypassing Windows passwords? Well, there's no like. You need to be really careful with the terminology that you use. You can't bypass a Windows password without much hassle or without much knowledge involved, really, from a 5-minute YouTube video. I can tell you that. As pretty much, if you have physical access to the device, all these operating systems have left fail safes to actually always be able to regain control of your system. Okay, so I guess that would be it with the questions. We can slowly start with the code. Um, okay, yeah, maybe it's a little bit too high. Oh my god, it's still terrible. Maybe I can try moving the camera. Okay, this is terrible. This is even worse. I'm just checking the angle. No, I'm sorry. For the next stream, it's gonna be a little bit different. I'll try to put the camera and the microphone in a different order, because now that I think about it, this looks pretty horrible in the sense of microphone. Yes, it's completely illegal to steal somebody's Facebook account. It's basically a theft of property. Is Fedora free OS like Red Hat? Red Hat is not free, but Fedora is. Fedora is basically a rollout testing edition for Red Hat, where they push all the latest software to test it out and see how it actually works. I'll help me to catch him with somebody if I come across him again. Recently, I came across a Carter. Hope I did not understand that. You can move closer and cut out most of the mic base. Oh, hey, Warren. Can't believe you tuned in as well. Is this like what time is it at your place? Everybody must know Warren. He answered so many questions. It was pretty hilarious. So everybody, if you would like, please say hello to Warren, because he's been helping you all out on Udemy. Okay, anyway, you can still pose questions if you like, but I'm going to go ahead and begin slowly with the code. So there are a few things that I have here in front of me, and I have basically one Arduino plate, to which I have welded an SD card slot, but didn't really utilize it. I'm not going to utilize it during this particular session. So this is the Arduino card. It's Arduino 3.2. I do not know, so now why are you not getting it? You can find it on GitHub. It's in the course. Everybody can see it. And aside from Arduino, I have this development environment here configured for Arduino. I'll show you how you can actually set it up. And I also have a Windows machine on which I am actually going to deploy everything. Okay, so what this file is going to do, what I'm going to achieve with this code, what should you write? Can you pass me the link for the GitHub for the keylogger? Just on Hangouts. Yeah, so now I'm gonna pass the link for you for the GitHub. Anyway, I've constructed a program whereby it actually loads a PowerShell script which produces random sounds, well, not random sounds, any sounds that you wish to record to creep people out when they use their machine. So it's a bit of a funny thing to do, but you can deploy pretty much anything in this fashion. When will I be back live again? I don't know. I was planning to do this on a weekly basis, but I'll definitely be sure to include this in an educational announcement so you'll be able to actually see it. There's a good chance that I'll be alive at the same time, but I don't know. I'll see. I'll send an educational announcement. Here you go. So now this is the code from the GitHub, so you can access it from there. Anyway, what I was trying to say is that what I'm going to do now is a method of code deployment onto a machine whereby you successfully manage to bypass the auto mount restrictions in Windows and antivirus restrictions in Windows. You can do a lot of things with this. We've managed to deploy in the course a keylogger like this. You can deploy a lot of other things, pretty much any code that you want. Sure things now. Any code that you want. But for the time being, I've decided to do something rather simplistic for the sake of the stream. I'm going to go ahead and load this code onto, I will of course explain it, but I'm going to go ahead and load this code onto Arduino, and then Arduino is going to type it out for me on Windows when I plug it in a fairly short amount of time, and it's going to deploy it. Grigora Sandre, I am the only one who is facing the key constants problem. In line 213. Are you using an English keyboard or some other keyboard? And did you compile the code from GitHub? Because I didn't really test it out with any other keyboard aside from English US. Theoretically, there should be no reason why it wouldn't work with any other keyboard, but I don't know. It should work with any other keyboard. Just give me a sec. Let me. Oh my god, somebody's honking the outside. People can be so rude. Where is it? Right. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I'll just go ahead and continue with the code. Grigoras, if you would just tell me if you're using the keyboard, English keyboard or not, I'm just curious myself to see if that's the actual problem. Anyway, the code that I have here, as I said, Arduino is fully capable of, if programmed properly, to bypass the auto mount restrictions in Windows, whereby you are able to take a USB, reprogram it, plug it into any given machine that runs Windows 7 and above, and bypass any sort of antivirus or any sort of auto mount restrictive policy. And Grigor, I don't know. I'm not the one who blocked you. I generally don't have a habit of blocking anybody out. I really didn't. I promise. I swear. It's an error on their part. And did you compile the code from GitHub? Okay. So in such a way, no, it's still going on. Why? Is the image not coming through? Oh, okay. No, it's still going through. Anyway, so we're going to go ahead and bypass the Windows security measures, so to say, and we're going to deploy a file into the System32, which is basically the root of the file, which is basically the equivalent of root on Linux. And once you actually deploy a file there, any sort of an executable file there, you can do pretty much whatever you want with the system. I myself have decided in this case to do something extremely stupid and create a PowerShell file which will play a custom recorded sound to an unsuspecting victim every so often. The machine will inform the user that it has become aware and alive. And I imagine that would be kind of creepy if you were watching a movie like 12 o'clock in the night, in the dark, on your laptop, and all of a sudden your laptop starts talking to you and says, I have become aware. Or help me to get out of this metal shell, or something like that. You can record any sort of custom sounds that you would feel like. Okay. Let me just go ahead and configure something in the settings over here completely unrelated to this, because I'm getting... Okay, there we go. Now it's working. Anyway, so I have the Arduino environment here set up, and what you need to do in order to get your Arduino environment to function, if you are on Linux, all you need to do is go over to Arduino. Just type it into your favorite search engine and go on to Arduino Home. And you won't download the latest version. And go under Software. Nah, your questions. Your questions basically never irritate me. So don't worry about it. I'm happy when I can actually answer your questions. So all the course is on GitHub file. Yes, Grigoras. I have posted the code there so that people could compile it against, so that people could rewrite the code and compile the code directly from the source in order to ensure that there are no syntax errors involved. Okay, so you go under software and you need the Arduino IDE. IDE stands for Integrated Development Environment. And I didn't manage to do this with Arduino 181 IDE. I needed one of the previous releases. So I went down here and then I went, where did I go? 18, 106, 1613, 169. And it doesn't matter in which operating system you're using. You could be on OS X, on Windows, on Linux. Even ARM is supported. So basically, just click the 64-bit Linux download, and you don't need to donate. You can just click on just download, and then you click on save file. Yep, there we go. So just click on save file. And then you're going to need a terminal. Okay, let me just clear it from all the clatter. Okay, so when you have the, what? Oh, right. I need to basically, we'll open up a terminal and then we'll install Arduino. And you don't really need to be root at all. You can be a regular user. As you can see, I've already tested this out extensively. I've been working since this morning. Yes, storyteller, you must have seen Warren on Udemy. He's been answering a lot of questions and helping a lot of people out with a lot of their problems. Anyway, so I'm just going to go into the downloads folder. Running downloads, and there are a lot of things here. So let me just go ahead and like move this apart and go back to the browser because I'm gonna need it. Okay, so just click here and then the tar will automatically open the zip. Don't worry. What headers? Modify only sendmail.h. I really don't know now. On the top of my head, I really don't know. I would need to actually check the code out. I just know that the code from GitHub will compile 100% on the Windows 7 and above and will work. Because it's been a while since I wrote that and I didn't really remember all of it. Yes, I know I have updated with a PowerShell script within the course, which actually makes the keylogger runnable at boot, because you need something to actually make the keylogger run at boot. You cannot have just the keylogger run at boot. You need to write a PowerShell script to work in conjunction with Arduino, which is in the course itself. Okay, so anyway, you just click here on extract, and I have extracted this here to my home directory. I have Arduino 169. You need that version. I have 181 and 18. Well, it's not 182. This is an idly build, but it doesn't matter. You just need 169, and you just click on extract, and that's it. I have already extracted those files, so I'm not going to go ahead and click on extract twice, but you can. Anyway, I do believe that this will be a part of the course on the Udemy, because I'm just going to update the course with this in all likelihood. So anything that you missed, feel free to catch up over there. Anyway, next we need TNC Arduino. And yeah, that's it. Just type in TNC Arduino, add-on for Arduino. software add-on here, and then select the desired operating system. So it's Linux installer. This is the one that I need. Keylogger does not start after when. Can you please tell me in which session? I do not know. I do not know. So now I know it is there. I have uploaded it myself, and I have verified that the video is functional. I've written the code for it myself, but I really do not know in which lesson it is. It's down. It should be somewhere down at the bottom, amongst the last lectures of the new ethical hacking and amongst the last lectures of the actual keylogger course. So you just click here on save file, and this is going to go to your downloads folder, and that's why I need the terminal. So in the terminal, let me just go ahead and clear all this clutter up. You need to type in chmod. Do this as a regular user, not as a root. Chmod plus X, and then you need tncduino install, and you press enter, and then you type in /tncduino install. If you're wondering why I'm typing so fast, I'm not. I'm just pressing tab to autocomplete. I'm getting ads interrupt on this channel every 2 minutes now. If you have a guide on how to disable them, I will disable them. Marty, if you know how to disable them, I'll disable them, no problems. Because I'm not running this for profit or anything like that. As I said, Marty, you don't need to pay for anything, buy anything, register anywhere, anything like that. I'm just a little bit stupid in regard to the recording and streaming. So if you know how to disable them, feel free to just let me know. I will do it immediately, because I am not playing any ads or doing anything like that. Okay, should I buy Teensy 2.0 or 3.0? Buy 3.6, which is the latest one. I would advise that one, I guess, because you can do pretty much everything you want with 3.6. Anyway, you just run this file and wait to actually run the executables in Linux is /, and after you have run it, you will get a pop-up window. I got the pop-up window on one of my monitors. I'm not just sure where. Here it is. Then you just click on next, and you select the folder where you have actually extracted the Arduino. So Arduino 169, you just select it. Click on next, and from there, just click next, 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 next. There's nothing else that you need to do. I'm going to go ahead and cancel this now because I already have done it. But from every step will be on Udemy anyway, so you can check it out there later on if you want. Why this video automatically refreshes itself and just goes to the lowest resolution possible? I really don't know. I'm streaming it in 1920 by 1080. Seems to be working fine. Could be a browser issue in your end or something like that. Will it do all done by 2.0 plus? Yes, I've done most of the things with 2.0 plus plus. You should be able to do it with 2.0 plus plus as well. But any new things that come by might be a little bit. I'm not sure whether it's going to be reverse compatible like the new things with 2.0 plus plus. I don't know. Storyteller, I don't know. Could be a connection issue or probably a connection issue, that your connection is not able to withstand the bandwidth. Anyway, I'm streaming in the best quality that I can. I'm hoping that you can read the letters all clear, nice and fine. Anyway, you run the installation of tncduino install, and that's it. Just basically click on next, 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 and that's all you need to do. Afterwards, all you need to do is go into home, chronic. Well, your username will obviously be different, or your identifier. 69 LL in order to create a listing here. Some of the Linux OSs might not have LL. You can also do ls -l. And then you can type in /Arduino and press enter, and this will actually run what you see behind you, although you won't have this code here. And of course, Arduino via USB, it needs to be plugged into your machine via USB. Okay, so what should you advise? What should you buy? You can buy the 3.6. They're all equally cheap. They're all pretty cheap. You can find them from the resellers, or you can find the used ones on eBay for really little. Stream okay in the UK. Thank you for that confirmation. From Romania is blocking AF. What is blocking A? What is AF? What is AF? Aha. Okay. Yeah. See, I'm not a very bright person, aren't I? I can be quite stupid at times. Takes time to actually figure things out. My brain just decides to take a break and not inform me of anything. Anyway, once you open up Arduino, never mind the code for the time being, you need to go onto Tools and you need to select a proper Arduino board. Mine at the moment is 3231. And you need to type it, and you need to select here a keyboard device and just USB type keyboard and select keyboard here. That's all you need to do there. Will you be doing this? So I'm going for 3.6. Yeah, you should be able to do everything you need with 3.6. This is the latest version. The newer versions are just have more features. They don't actually remove old features. NVIDIA. Aha, Nadia. Okay. No, I read that as NVIDIA. I'm terribly sorry. I've installed Kali 2016, but can't run update and upgrade to finish off the installation. I've disabled and stopped all AVG services on Windows 10. Daniel, what is the error that you're getting? If you want, I can take a look. No, if you just have the error message, could post it here. And I don't know, will I be doing this every Sunday? I would like to, definitely. I would really love to. I'll see if I can just. I'll just see. Like a friend of mine is over here telling me, "Do not promise anything." She's religiously telling me that because we're really tight in terms of time, so we're doing our best. Okay, so now that you've actually selected a board and that you've selected a USB type, now your Arduino can actually become a keyboard. Will I be able to make a bad USB as mentioned in your article? Yes, you will be able to do that. Connection times out. I don't know, maybe for some people times out. I'm not actually sure. I'm not doing anything special on my end. My connection is 10 megabit upload, so it should be fine. Appears no link step installed into VirtualBox. Virtual machines don't have access to the wireless integrated cards. Okay, anyway, so in Arduino you have two methods. You have setup and loop, which are the two main methods with which this gets spawned. And everything else I have actually written here. Some of the things I've recycled from past, but most I have not. Most I've actually written specifically for this particular session. Now, I have loaded on my PowerShell scripts into strings because this is classical C language. I have loaded them into scripts and I have set the initial delay is 10 seconds, which is a rather long delay, but I just want to make sure that the code executes fine. Although, a bit of a spoiler, this is going to fail to an extent because I'm going to run Arduino on a virtual machine, and due to the delays and lags and fails between the sending of signal of Arduino keyboard device and the virtual machine, it might skip a letter or two or something like that, which can be a little bit problematic. But on a physical machine, this will work 100%. Because there are no such delays on a physical machine. Although I have done some testing, and when Chrome browser is actually active due to its numerous threads, it tends to interfere with a lot of things. Anyway, so the idea is to load a PowerShell script onto a Windows machine, deploy it, put it in System32, and have it produce random creepy sounds of our own making at some sort of random intervals or at some sort of intervals that we arbitrarily decide for ourselves. So what we need to do is actually write a PowerShell script let me just go ahead and open this up on the Windows machine. Do I have it? Yes, I do. Okay, let me just bring it over here and enlarge the VM. So this is a Windows VM where I can just expand this. I have opened up PowerShell ISE. This is something that every Windows 7 Plus machine comes pre-installed with, or hopefully. I'm on a trial version anyway, so I mean, if you have a licensed version, you're gonna have this for sure. And I have a small function here which will simply download some sort of content from the web, and I have another function down below which will actually utilize that which was downloaded, whatever that might be. In the ethical hacking course, in the keylogger course, the download function is far more complex, where it runs the verification of the download via MD5 hash. But since I started writing this at 2 o'clock in the afternoon and the stream was at 7 o'clock in the evening, I didn't really have the time to put everything, to configure everything. So a lot of these things, a lot more will actually be included in the course updates. There are no stupid questions. I don't have rewrite the PowerShell from the course, right? It's already implemented in sendmail. Yes, it is loaded in the string. I mean, you do need to write it in the string in the C++ code. It needs to be there, but if you're asking if the PowerShell script is embedded in the C++ code on GitHub, then yes, it is definitely there. You can even look at it. You can even take a look at it. It's I forgot the name of the string, but it should be fairly obvious. It's the one with a large amount of backslashes and escape characters. Can I have another glass of water, please? Thank you. And Grigoras, I don't really believe in stupid questions. You wouldn't believe the sort of questions I've asked. Like, they were even beyond my belief. Okay, so this function downloads something from the internet, and this is generally a bad way to download something because I didn't actually run any sort of verification process. I didn't run it, as I said, because I started creating this at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and I didn't have that much time to actually create everything and make Arduino functional for you. But more will be included in the course itself. Anyway, the web client, these are simply sets of PowerShell directives, orders, which are actually loaded into variables. So there is some sort of a return value here, which is loaded into this variable. And the URL is basically a string, which takes the URL of that which is to be downloaded from the net. If you type this in onto the internet now, you will get exactly nothing. Because this is a local IP address, I do believe in the course I will put this to actually function outside of the local area network, whereby you will be able to download this from the internet, like with the keylogger. The environment user profile simply refers to this location. So C backslash up users backslash and then the user name. This is what is stored in the environment variable user profile, and that is why I'm using it there, because I don't know everybody's usernames. I mean, I probably would like to know, but post more courses over your YouTube channel. If I had somebody to edit all of them, and if I didn't have like restriction policies from you can only have certain portions of courses on YouTube due to the terms of service, I would definitely post more. But more importantly, if I just had somebody to edit the material, I would probably post even more videos. Okay, so the URL is the URL of the server. It can be an external server outside of your own network. This will still work, but it's a little bit sketchy because there's no verification process, which will be included in the course. And down below, I have a function play music. So this goes into an infinite loop. And if you can just go on the net and find a random function which generates random numbers, you can insert it here. I will do that in the course most likely. It will play this this audio file in random intervals. Here I have made a test file with a sound recording. This is of my own creation. It basically says, "I'm your computer. I have become alive, or I have become aware," or something like that. You will get to hear it. I will. I'm sure it'll be. I'm sure it'll be a hit. We started creating our own forum. It's abstractthinking.co. There isn't like super much material on it at the moment, but we'll slowly update it. Anyway, so this is this test.vav is basically our creepy message that will be played at within some arbitrary amount of time. Make sure that that arbitrary amount of time is longer than the actual audio file itself. Sure thing, Stronghold. I'm happy. I'm actually glad that people tuned in, that I was actually able to help somebody out. If you could if this is an inconvenient time for a lot of people, you can inform me of that. I will attempt to change the time of the stream next time around. Anyway, the play the music function down there has an infinite while loop, whereby this entire command simply serves to play this file here. The user profile contains the path to our user, and this is simply a sleep command, whereby we state that it should sleep for 20 seconds and then issue the message again. You can set it to sleep for like an hour and then issue a message every hour. You can have some sort of random interval here. Okay, let me just take a glass of water. Can a person under botnet be traced? Yes, definitely. Especially if you're the one that's infected with the botnet, because you are reversing your connections to the central server somewhere, and you are receiving commands and transmitting them as well. I don't Stronghold. I don't really use Kali or Parrot. I use Fedora. I'm sorry. There is no benefit to these operating systems. They just come pre-installed with a bunch of things that you can install yourself on any operating system, pretty much. It's the best time. Please do not change the time. Okay. Okay, no worries. I will attempt not to change the time. Anyway, down below, I'm calling the function download, and I'm giving it like 5 seconds to download this file because this is on the local server. Normally, this would be a very stupid way to handle with a timing delay, because a timing delay is really no guarantee that the file has been downloaded or that the integrity of the file is preserved during the download. That needs to be checked with a hash to verify the integrity of a download. But not going to do that now. I'm just going to put that in the course here. I just want to give you a brief demo. And down below, you have a method which is play the music, which is going to play our creepy message ever so often. Okay, now that I've actually written this script here, I can test it out, no problems. But I'm not going to, because it won't be able to hear anything. It works. Just take my word for it. I will demonstrate it a little bit later. So now, I'm going to put this here and parallel to this. And I want you to know that all of this code will be placed into a string. So this entire code will be loaded onto a string. And that string is called creepy. So the string creepy actually contains that entire code. So you see function download and then web client, and then it goes on and on and on and on, and it's a pretty long string. It's a pretty large string. I didn't think you would be the controller of the botnet. That changes the story all around. Well, yes, you can be traced, of course. Botnets are very, very, very risky if somebody on the other end knows what they're doing. They're going to infect themselves deliberately, and they will trace you, and they will be capable of tracing you back because, hey, you have to actually communicate to those computers. So in short, yes, you can be traced, but there are things which you can do to actually minimize the risks. Okay, so that entire script has been placed into this string here, and this is the path where I'm going to place the string. It's system32, which is basically the root of the system. If you can manage to put files there and execute them from there, you're basically God on the system, on the operating system of Windows. And this thing here actually just creates the file, echoes nothing into this file, and the process of echoing nothing into this file, which doesn't exist at the time, will actually create the file. This will hide the shell once it executes. So this will keep the shell hidden, and nothing will be shown to the user. So the user will be completely oblivious in a graphical sense that anything is actually happening. And this first one is very important. You need to execute this in order to set the execution policy to unrestricted so that your PowerShell could actually run in the first place. And POW admin gen file, populate file, and POW admin, just these functions here, like POW admin gen file and populate file. They're pretty lengthy functions down below. They're actually a complex sets of keyboard keys that are being transmitted to the system. And I have explained these functions greatly in the course itself. It would be a very lengthy procedure to go through every one of them. So let me just go ahead and explain the basics here. It basically sets the modifier, and this is the right GUI key. So this is the Windows key on the right side. And you basically just send it, create a delay, and then you release it. So you basically just press and release, press and release. And you need like Control and Shift to open up the Start menu to prompt the UAC, to prompt for the admin privileges, etc. Anyway, so these functions have been greatly explained in the course, but if you have some additional questions in regard to the methods below, feel free to ask them. I'll try to explain them to the best of my abilities. Anyway, now that we have all of this set up, we need to basically just run verify, and once we have verified, it goes pretty fast. And then if we have our Arduino device here, which is basically plugged in, you need a very small pin that was here on my table a moment ago, and it still is. And you just click on, oh yeah. Okay, I've made a mistake, so my argument was not declared. Argument as admin via PowerShell. Okay, why do I need this? Or just Control Z is the safest option always. Aha. Okay. I made some comments in my own code. So just click on upload, and this is gonna start uploading things. If it doesn't upload on its own, like it didn't here, just press the button on Arduino. There's a small pin button here, and you're gonna get this prompt, and it will say reboot OK. And that should be fine. I mean, there isn't much feedback to know that you have completed it, but it already started typing on my screen, so I'm just gonna plug it out completely. That's it in terms of actually loading the code itself. You can record the file, the audio file, in your favorite recorder. I have posted my file on the local web server here. I've started by using systemctl start httpd, and it's already started. It's already started, so it won't do anything, but I've also installed it by typing in dnf install httpd. No need to run the installation procedure twice, as it's already there. And I've changed the chown of my test.wav file to myself, basically. Chronic and then just test.wav. No need to run it again. I just changed that, and I've given it some extra permissions. I don't think that you will need it at all. Nikit, no problem, bro. Firstly, you're trying to help us by coming to live, ignoring all your work, so it doesn't matter if we have to stay up. No, don't. Like, if you need to go to sleep, go to sleep. I will undoubtedly post this on Udemy as well, so you'll be able to watch it there. And you just start this server, and then you record this test.wav file with whatever operating system, basically with whatever utility you wish. I've used ALSA, but here let me just play it for you. VLC /var /www HTML test.wav.
I am your computer, and I am becoming sentient.
Okay. So that's what I've basically recorded, and that's what our unsuspecting victim is going to hear at like 12 o'clock at night or 3 o'clock in the morning. Depends how you look at it or where you're from. Okay, so I have that file. It's accessible via net, I know, because I've placed it in this folder, and this is the path to it in order to download it, and it's going to run from there. Now, I need to go back. I need my Vert Manager. No, not that. Vert Manager is an amazing... oh, excellent. I'm glad that you're not being bothered by ads. Honestly, I don't know, if somebody's getting hammered by ads or something like that, feel free to just tell me how to disable them. I will gladly do it if there were any ad problems or something like that. I'm not doing this for any sort of profit or anything like that. So I have my virtual machines here. Vert Manager, a fantastic piece of virtualization software for management of virtual machines. All the best. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and take my Windows VM. I'm gonna go ahead and click here. And what are these? Okay, so I've already passed this device, Arduino, to it, but I'm gonna go ahead and remove. And I shall remove this as well. And then I shall add hardware. But actually, before I click on add hardware, I need to plug the Arduino in. And remember the 10-second delay that we have created? That is so that Arduino wouldn't actually start functioning before its time. So, and then be very, very fast here. Where is it? There we go. Finish. Okay. Oh, God. Okay, I need to unplug it. Okay, so I've unplugged it. Let me just go ahead and plug it back in and observe what happens on the screen. I mean, it's gonna fail because it's a VM, but I will do a real demonstration or a real machine in the course. Most likely it's going to fail due to the timing delays. I know this for a fact. So I've plugged it in, and there we go. Look, hands-free. It's just executing on its own. It's going to get admin permissions. It has failed straight away. So I'm just going to go ahead and plug it out and plug it in. I wanted to go a little bit further than that. But look, my hands are free. Arduino device is here. It has bypassed any sort of protection that Windows might have, and it's slowly starting to execute files on it. It's a VM, so there are timing delays, and not all the keys get passed through, but in general, this will work on a physical machine as there are no delays there. I guess I'm just going to go ahead and keep my hands up in the air so that you know that I'm not doing anything. But there we go. It executed that. It's still going forward. It should still go forward. Okay. Well, while it's going forward, I might as well check out the stream. You can rewind this. I've set the stream to be rewindable. Okay, there you go. It actually printed out the entire script into a file. You can rewind the stream 4 hours backwards. There you go. I think I can publish this as well, just to leave it permanently here. But I also post the entire thing on as a part of the Udemy course, and I can post that segmented part here on YouTube as well, so you can see it. And there you go. It actually ran the entire script. It probably failed somewhere because it's a VM, but in a physical machine it will work. But as you can see, I've managed to execute a set of instructions on this Windows machine without any interaction on my part. It was a completely automated process on the part of Arduino. It managed to bypass everything by simply pretending to be a keyboard. And the Windows OS has no other choice but to allow the keyboard because that is user input. It would have to basically cripple the user input in order to protect itself. Okay, let me just read the question. Are there any parts of the ethical tutorial that are more important? Are there some things that can be skipped with respect to relevance? I don't know. I'd guess what you're interested in. If you don't feel like you need to be anonymous, then you can skip the first parts and so on. Will it be available on YouTube after the stream? Yeah, I can make it available, but you can, even now, while the stream is going on, you can rewind 4 hours backwards, but I'm just not sure if this... Yeah, it should be available. I mean, unless there are some technical issues, it should be available. And now we can go into this PC and Windows, System 32, and search creepy. And there is our beloved PowerShell script. It would have even been, maybe it's actually executed. No. Firefox. Doesn't matter. The reason why it's failing is, I said, it's a virtual machine and it will work on a native machine, but I can't actually record it in a native machine. Anyway, this script, now once it actually runs, 1 second, Nikit. This script, once it actually runs, it will actually play the creepy sounds for the unsuspecting victim of the machine. You can repeat the exactly same procedure on a physical machine, the one that you own, and this will indeed work. I'm just being messed up with the timings of the VM, but I will do this without the VM in the course, and I'll also try to publish it on YouTube as well, so you'll be able to follow through the whole procedure, no problems. Anyway, that was it as far as the exercise was concerned. Let me just see if you have any other questions that are left. The command to format the partitions in Linux, sure. Let me just type it in for you. mkfs dot, let's say, ext4, and then dev, and then your device. Careful though, this will actually format, and this is not exactly a reversible procedure. I'm having technical issues on my side, it seems. I can only rewind as far as I've been watching. Constant refreshes, so if it could be published. Yeah, as long as there were no technical boundaries to me publishing it, I have no problems with it just leaving it there. I'll be happy to do it. I mean, I will record the actual tutorial, like where this will be done on a physical machine, so you don't have to like worry about that. And the scripts will be a little bit more complex because I didn't want to make it too complicated for the tutorial, for the live session either. But yeah, so that shouldn't be a problem. Do you recommend using Tails? Any opinions about it? No, not really. It's not exactly usable as a daily system, so why? I mean, it just gives you a sense of anonymity to an extent, but no big deal. Yeah, guys, I'll as I said, I have no problems leaving it on YouTube as long as there are no technical difficulties, technical reasons why I should be prevented. So, that's it as far as what I've seen or what I've intended to do. If you have any more questions or suggestions, I'll be happy to help you out in any way I can. And I will, after the stream, I'll actually try to upload it. I'll try to leave it on YouTube. Big thanks for your C++ course. I've almost completed it, off topic here, but being interested in game programming, would you say? Yes, using an engine, definitely. You have Unreal, CryEngine, Unity. Robert, do you have any particular platforms for which you would wish to develop these games? Oh my god. Can you open up the window? Oh my god, this room is really warm. Yeah, my throat is becoming completely dry. But Robert, do you have any particular platforms for which you would like to develop the games? DEF CON conference, Sam. Because if you want a different platform, then you need different engines. Unreal is not really for. Why not? Oh god. Yeah, somebody really doesn't want to open up a window. Fine. Because if you want for different platforms, you need Unity, but Unreal has better graphics, I would say. I definitely will, Storyteller. I definitely will. How to crack and patch software? No, sorry, I can't because I don't actually own the software. I would need the permission from the software's creator to do something like that. Like, for example, I can't teach you how you can create a crack for Windows because I obviously don't have permission from Windows to do it. Anyway, if that's it, I'll announce the next live stream and you can tune in and have all sorts of questions ready for me. I will try to answer as many as I can. Now, I'm going to go ahead and bid you all farewell. And I hope that you enjoyed this. Okay, just wanted to make sure I track for the most part. Sure, Robert, if you have any inquiries, you can tune in next time and I'll try to help you out as much as I can. Anyway, once again, apologies for the lack of responses on Udemy. There's just too many people asking questions, and I can't possibly manage to like grab them all. I have to modify 3 times the fine for my mails, right? Not necessarily, Grigoris, because your sender's mail address and your receiver's mail address can be the same because you'll send a mail to yourself. But you can modify 3 times or 2 times. Yes, approximately. I am familiar with the procedure. It plays around with the connection of the machine and how it actually replies to the requests for the authorized keys or something like that. I remember watching that once, but I'm not terribly interested in it. On a lot devices. Huh, maybe I could. Maybe I could, Rita. I'll see what I can do. Go ahead, Nick. Go ahead. I'll stay for as long as you all need me. Non differences in effectiveness. Python. The question does not apply. Python versus C++. It's like two programming languages which are meant for two completely different things. Each one is good at what it does. It all depends on what you yourself want to do. If you want to do something else, if you want to do one thing, then C++ is for you. If you want to do another thing, then Python is for you. If you would tell me what you would like to do, then I would be able to make a better recommendation. But just like this, the comparison makes no logical sense. I use Nmap to scan my country, but the results were so confusing. You really shouldn't use Nmap to scan your entire country because there are probably IP addresses which they don't want to be scanned. Thank you. I'll try to have a good night. I hope it works out for you, Grigoris. Black Hat Python. You can use any programming language for any sort of a thing, I guess. My educational background? None. I've taught myself. Generally hated school. Was a fairly depressing experience. I see that as years I will never get back. Okay, I think that's it then. I don't see any more questions popping. So I'll see you next time. I'll announce the next live stream either on YouTube and via Udemy Educational announcement as well. Feel free to subscribe if you can. If not, doesn't matter. Tune in next time.